Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Planescape Torment. Alright, let's go ahead and talk to some more people here in the Godsman Hall. Hello! You see a bushy-haired man clad in the height of fashion, if you consider fashion to have died 50 years ago. His clothing seems to consist of tattered street urchin rags, and he seems to affect a disdainful manner toward those around him. Wait. Clad in the height of fashion, but his clothing seems to consist of tattered street urchin rags. So, are you saying that 50 years ago the height of fashion was to dress like a tattered street urchin? Because that's just silly. Or that might be his actual manner. He doesn't even glance at you until you speak to him, and then his eyes begin searching your face carefully. Do you want something? Well, who are you?
I'm Nil Xander, great-grandson of the artificer Zero Xander, engineer, dreamer, creator. And I finished his work. The work that you commissioned, the Dream Builder. Are you ready to claim the use of it now?
A dream builder? What's that?
It is both machine and ritual. It is a state of mind and a construct of steam and blood. It grants dreams to those who enter its confines. It was built for you, and it's waiting for you. Are you ready to finish it off? It has been waiting for you for decades.
How do you know it was built for me?
Because my great-grandfather, Zeno...
Wasn't that Zero? Did I just misread that before? No, I did not. They changed his name mid-conversation. From Zero Xander to Zeno Xander.
Set your face in stone so that we might know you when you return for the work you commissioned. He always thought you'd return, but no one else truly believed you would. Our family completed it because we said we would. And now, here you are.
Do you still have the stone?
No, it was stolen from me a year ago. I saw only a shadow flitting away. It was the only item taken from my home. I have no idea who'd take it, but I'd memorized the features.
Alright, let's finish the Dream Builder.
What I need to begin the final stages of the Dream Builder is a piece of your skin immersed in your blood so the machine can familiarize itself with your physical essence. It must be in a blue-green bottle to symbolize the dream sea on which you will float.
I don't know that I want to fetch that for you. Flesh and blood, I've given enough of that lately. Answer a question for me first. Flesh, blood, bottle. Right. I'll be back. Well, answer a question for me first. Small frown of concentration creases his already wrinkled forehead.
What would you like to know?
What can you tell me about the godsman? He sighs and collects himself.
That's a long subject. Let's get started on it. Now, all the creatures want something, don't they? They create, they build, they tear down, they dream, they fight, they fornicate. They do all these things because they want something beyond what they have. Even on the basest level of existence, every iota strives to be something greater. Some achieve this, some fall by the wayside.
Go on.
Every decision, every action, every reaction, these all create a base on which something else builds.
Oh, yeah. That's what the dragons believe about Io, and that's what the giants believe about Anam. Oh, you were saying?
It seems obvious, then, that our current exalted state is building a base for ourselves for something greater. What is that, if not godhood? That's the way I've always justified it, and frankly, I ain't in the mood for philosophical discussions. You want that? Find a factor or something.
Where can I find a factor?
Factor Kelder's right up there on the dais. Talk to him. Or else find that suicidal Burke Sandoz and talk to him. Are you done pestering me yet?
Not yet. Tell me about your coworkers.
Bah, they do not possess a true fire. They speak of creation and they boast of the potentials, but they do not create anything beyond the mundane. Their imaginations are poor, limited, obsessed with the small details. A true dreamer, I say, creates a grand scheme and then concentrates on the details. Starting with details is for the ants of the imagination, these small insects who aspire only to be fed.
That's very charitable of you. Answer some other questions for me, if you would. What do you do here?
What do I do? I'm the engineer of all engineers. I studied under the Tanari smith Kazan, who tempered words on a forge of hate, quenched them in a trough of despair, and sent them forth to slaughter stupidity. Elements of phrases, caustic words, were brought to him, and he created weapons of terrifying magnitudes, weapons that would lay an enemy low and destroy the malformed ideas of others. I'm sure you've seen his work.
So you create evil weapons here?
Not at all. My forge is not built on hate, but on understanding. I have also studied under the Archon artisan Terrasophiria, who created the healing touch of a gentle thought, ideas that would still any fiendish, spitting heart.
That comma threw me for a second there.
He worked his will with love and devotion. My work blends theirs, as all mortal psyches blend elements of the demonic and the sublime.
Absolutely fascinating. Are your coworkers as well trained as you? Ah, that. I see. With that insight, I must be off. Farewell. Alright, so I need to get a blue-green bottle, and then put some of my flesh, blood, and maybe for good measure, tears into it. Alright, let's go talk to Saros. Get your butt back here. Get your butt back here. I want to talk to you. You see a sandy-haired youth. He's on the cusp between adolescence and adulthood, and from his eyes it looks like he's trying to be as adult as possible without having the slightest idea how. In other words, he seems innocent. Hey, stranger, what can I do for you? Well, you could answer a few questions for me. Ask me whatever you want. What is the mean airspeed of an unladen swallow? What? I don't know that. Well, tell me about yourself. Me, I'm Saros. I grew up around here. Got to run through the foundry playing with stuff. I like pretty much everyone here, except for Thildon. He keeps saying I'm not raised right and that my father is a poor parent. All I know is that Thildon's the biggest sod I ever met. I'm sure. I had a few other questions. Tell me about the Great Foundry. Okay. Oh, it's not actually the same. I grew up here. I played in the main foundry area and ran through the barracks. It stinks and it's loud and people can be like Thildon, but it's still home for me. Tell me about the people here. They're smiths and workers. I think they mean well, but they're all so earnest and boring. They need to liven themselves up a bit. Like, say, the sensates. You like the sensates, huh? They know how to live life. They know what it's all about. Not like these people. They keep pretending there's some big noble purpose to it all, but I don't see it. My sister says that life is more than our senses show, but I don't see how she knows that, since all she knows is through her senses. I just don't get why people make this stuff up. Who's your sister? Sarosa? She can just look at someone and see what needs adding and what needs taking away. I don't know how she does it. My father always said it was something about her ascending to another level. He said she was a born godsman. Interesting. Answer some other questions. Alright, that's about it. Alright, Keldor. You see a sturdy man who looks like he's bursting with vitality. His face is tanned and lined, and his black beard is beginning to show hints of white. Hail, stranger, and well met. What can I do for you this fine day? I have a message for you from Giltspur the Auctioneer. A message, eh? Message for you, sir. He takes the note from you. Very well, you can tell him the message is delivered. Was there anything else you wanted? I had a few more questions. What do you want to know? Who are you? He smiles broadly. My friend, I am Keldor of Durian, one of the factotums of the godsmen, and nominally in charge of this place while our true high-ups are gone in conclave. But there are more CK2 expansions out now. What can you tell me about this place? This is the Great Foundry, home of the Believers of the Source, also known as the Godsmen. Here we make items that ship all over the plains. We're renowned in many worlds. Only the best work here. It's said that we've got a staff of smiths that rival those in Mount Clangeddon itself. Personally, I don't think we're that good, but we are close. Well, can you take on additional work? Sadly, friend, we cannot. We're engaged in a long-term contract right now that's taken up most of our resources. Also that, you can't actually order custom equipment from us so that the programmers wouldn't have to put that in there. Novel, isn't it? Perhaps when we're finished, in a matter of years. My apologies. Really? Must have paid you a pretty hefty sum for the exclusive access. I had some other questions. Tell me more about your faction.
Gladly, what do you want to know?
What are the beliefs of this faction?
We believe that the universe is a giant testing ground, a place where we prove ourselves through a series of tests. These tests continue throughout your life, throughout your many lives. Each step in each day may well be a test for you, and your reward in the next life depends on how well you learn your lessons in this life. We believe that a body learns from experience, and that experience extends through your lives, making you into something greater than just a single life.
You'd get on well with the Vedic pantheon, wouldn't you? So what's the point of it all?
We're not entirely sure. After all, we haven't gotten to the end of it yet, have we? The best we can figure is that we muddle through our lives seeking to find the answers that are right for us, and in the end we move on to godhood and beyond. What waits there is anybody's guess.
Should go talk to Finder, see if he's come to any conclusions after having achieved godhood. Alright, keep going.
So, life is a test. We take the test. When we pass, we move on to a new form. This might be the form of an archon, of a fiend, or of a power. The choices we make in this life, as always, help chart our course. Whether we have free will or not is still under debate, he smiles. Of course, I'm on the side of the free will people. I hate thinking that my choices have already been made for me.
Alright, I had more questions about your faction. Tell me of the faction's history.
It's commonly believed that we were founded by Perrine, before the Great Upheaval, when all the factions became 15 in number. During the upheaval, Augie of Fonel tightened the faction's beliefs into what they are today. She had been reincarnated 1,000 times and could remember each one of her reincarnations. She taught us how to treat our intuition and led us to a new era. Those two were the most important figures in our faction. We have plenty more stories, but those are the bare bones.
Alright, that's some more questions. What do I get for being in the faction?
Well, aside from access to our excellent foundry, room and board for you and your friends, special items and spells, and a more favorable reaction from most folks you'll meet on the street, there's not much to recommend us. Of course, if you're planning on being with us for merely the benefits, I'd have to counsel against it.
Alright, add some other questions. Who are the faction's enemies?
We don't have enemies, per se. Still, there are some who oppose our beliefs. The bleak cabal scoff at the idea that we evolve towards something more perfect. I figure that if they don't think there's a point, they might as well get it over with. Like the dustmen ought to. The dustmen think that life is an illusion, preparing for the big death, and our belief champions the cause of life. They promote death, we celebrate life. What could be more opposed?
Alright, I had some other questions. What do you do, anyway?
Well, we run the Great Foundry. We also run Harbinger House, where we train folks who seem to be powers in training, bashers who've demonstrated some sort of special ability that sets them apart from normal mortals. Some say we do it because we want a power on our side, but the truth is we do it because we figure that's part of our tests as well. We do our best to make sure every creature faces up to its responsibilities. We want to see the multiverse move on.
Alright, and why are you named as you are?
That's a good question. Our real name is the Believers of the Source, because we believe all life springs from a pure primal source, but because we believe that all creatures have the potential for godliness within them, it's only natural that our nickname would be the Godsman.
Alright, I had some more questions. How do I join?
If you wish to join the Believers of the Source, you must complete 3 quests. The first quest is this. You must go to the forge and create an item. This will show that you are capable of seeing the possibilities inherent in even a base lump of iron. That you are capable of bringing forth something that will stand the test of time. It measures your vision and your ability to make the potential actual. Talk to Elisa, the foundry supervisor, in the main foundry to see how it all works.
Updated my journal.
I had some other questions. I'd like to see the secret project if I could. He smiles.
Friend, I can't give that to you until you prove yourself a friend of the Godsman.
Alright. I need to ask some questions about the forge.
You had questions about the forge? I will answer all I can.
Okay, no. Alright. So we need to head back and talk to Giltspur again. In addition, we could try becoming a member of the Godsman. Oh, hey, there's someone who's named Thilden. Yo, hey. He's trying to talk to you, jerk. You see a slab-stomached man with thick arms and a scraggly beard. He smells as if he hasn't washed in ages, and his breath doesn't do much for your breakfast. He's in the process of ordering around subordinates as you approach him, and he deals a quick cuff to the ear of one of them. He turns to face you, hitching up his belt.
What do you want?
I had some questions.
You want answers? Like what?
Who are you?
Dildon the Grey, supervisor for this yard. My job is to make sure my laborers get the jobs done, and to make sure people like you don't distract them. They work little enough as it is, the little sods, and they'd manage to lose the rest of the day in idleness if I weren't here. I'm tough, but I'm fair. Ask anyone.
Why do they call you the Grey?
Because I'm covered in soot most of the time from those blasted furnaces. It's a nickname my laborers have given me. Out of affection, no doubt.
Sarcastic, no doubt. They really seem to respect your gentle soul.
Are you suggesting that I'm not entirely fair with my workers? Because I am. I'm like a father to them.
Unfortunately, most of them probably were beaten regularly as children. I'm just suggesting that you might be a little too fair, if you know what I mean. Totally gonna try to piss him off. His face purples with rage. When he finally gets himself under control, he sputters,
"Get out of my sight, or I'll call the guards on you."
Just answer some questions for me. He bellows for the guards.
"Guards, get this sorry carcass out of my sight and make him stay gone."
Very well then, farewell. Not gonna kill him yet. Nope, okay, can't get in there. How about over here? Nope. It looked like there was a passageway down here, so let's go ahead and take a look. Nadalin. Hello.
So you're the one that they're making all the fuss about, eh? Can't say I blame him. You look a dangerous sort. Go on, get out of here.
Oh. Oh, I have apparently pissed them all off. Whoops. Okay, I guess we won't piss that guy off yet.
Done.
Maybe we'll piss him off again later. Let's go talk to you before angering Thilden. You see a wizened old man with trembling hands and a cunning face. He looks you over carefully and speaks.
Hell, have I seen you before? You seem familiar to me somehow.
From where? Do you remember where?
Not so fast, lad. Takes a while for the mind to warm up to a task like this. I've lived a long time and seen a lot more faces in that time, and it ain't so easy to remember. Memory's a fleeting thing, and that's something you can bank on.
Before replying, you mutter, "Tell me about it, lad." Then forget it. I'm here to pick up an item. Then can you tell me who you are?
Me, I'm Nadalin, godsman fighter extraordinaire, he sighs. At least I used to be. Now I'm a clerk in the foundry, breathing in the sooty air and hastening my dying day along.
Well, that's a pity. I had other questions. You remember where yet? Nope. And forget it. I'm here to pick up an item.
Do you have a receipt? I need a receipt or I can't give you anything.
Yes, I do. Lost item. The old man takes the receipt from you and scrutinizes it carefully.
This thing's over 100 years old. How'd you come by it?
I left it for myself, but I got busy. 40,000 experience points.
That's a good one, lad. I'll just bet you were busy.
He laughs to himself. He passes over his armload.
Here you go. Treat this work with care. You hear?
That I will. I had some more questions, though. I'd like to pick up some gear for the forge.
You're wanting to be a smith now, eh, lad? Very well. You'll need an apron, 10 copper, some tongs, another 10, and a hammer, which will be 20. That comes to, let me see, 50 copper.
That comes to 40 copper, old man. I'm sorry, but that sounds more like 40 copper to me.
What am I thinking? Of course it is. I tell you, memory's an insidious thing.
That it is. Give me the stuff.
Don't forget to pick up some more from Thildon if you're wanting to work the forge. He's a miserly bastard, but he's the only person to get ore from.
Alright, thanks. Very well. Alright, so, let's see. Curious ironwork. Unfolding portal, usable only by the Nameless One. This is a shimmering piece of filigreed metalwork that you picked up in the Great Foundry. It looks almost gauzy. Sharp edges protrude from it. You have no idea where it goes right now, but it must be important if you commissioned it for yourself. All you need to do to activate it is to find the proper key, which I do have right there. Put that there. Alright, so we've got our tongs, we've got our forge hammer, and we've got our leather apron, which we can't actually wear. Alright. Well, let's go find Thildon, talk to him. I don't know, I'm curious what we can make out of this. I had some questions. I need to use the forge. Can you give me some more?
Seems like they'll let anyone be a godsman these days, he grumbles. Ain't like the old days where you had to show real potential to be a member. You want this iron for your policy test? Take it then. Get mazed.
He thrusts a lump of cold ore into your hands. Thanks, I had some other questions. Nope, nothing. Farewell. Alright. Alright, where is... what's her name? You again? What do you want now? My apologies for my impatience, but we are on a schedule here. I had some questions for you. I need to use the forge. Certainly, just make sure you have the proper items for it. Protection from the flames, tongs, hammer, and of course your iron ore. Right. I had other questions. Need to use forge. Well, okay. What do I do to actually use it? Alright, well I had some other questions. I need to get into that guarded room back there. I'd love to help you, but only the real high-ups can authorize that. You'd have to speak to Keldor about that. Alright. Thanks for nothing. Oh, do I use this one? The forge. You step up to the forge. The heat is incredible. What do? Use the forge. The fire is throwing off an incredible amount of heat, but thanks to your protection, you are able to withstand it without any damage. Would you like to work the forge? Yes. What would you like to use? What would you like to do first? Ready the tongs. You hold the tongs in a firm grip as the sweat pours from you. What do you want to do now? Pick up the ore with the tongs and hold it in the flames. The ore softens rapidly, soon becoming soft enough to work. Your hands grow slick with sweat. Place the softened ore on the forge and work it into shape. What would you like to forge? Battle axe, two-handed hammer, something small and dangerous. A stiletto. A stiletto. A quick, easy weapon. And one that will get you away from this inferno much sooner. Are you sure you want a stiletto? Yes. Now, that is a nice piece of work. Your stiletto is not only functional, it's perfectly balanced and deadly looking. Nice work. This thing will serve me well. Keldor will certainly be impressed by this. Time to get out of the flames. High quality stiletto. Okay. I'm guessing that you would just make regular old weapons. Nothing spectacular. Or maybe if you had better skills or something like that, you could. I don't know. Who knows?
I'm gone.
Show him the item you forged. I have finished forging my creation. He takes it from you and examines it carefully.
That is without a doubt one of the better pieces I have seen a recruit forge. You'll go far, my friend. Are you ready for the next test? I certainly hope so.
I suppose I am. 8,000 experience points.
He continues grimly. A murderer has struck in the foundry, and I am forsaking the usual test in order for you to track this killer down. Go speak to the supervisor, Alyssa Tield, in the main foundry, and proceed from there. When you have completed your investigation and are ready to name a culprit, come back to me.
Alright, had some
Updated my
other
journal.
questions. Nope, alright. Alright, so we get to do a murder investigation. Well, that's always fun. Oh. That is a thing. Alright, everyone, you've seen enough. Back to work.
I'm gone.
Ah, it was filled in. Where are you? There you are. Under Keldor's authority, I'm investigating the murder that occurred here. What can you tell me about it? You want to know what I saw the night of the murder? Well, I was working late when I heard the sound of a scuffle. When I came out, I saw a shadowy figure slip out the door into the meeting hall, and I raised the alarm. Do you have any other details? I only know 3 people who had access to the building that night. They were Thildan, Saros, and Bedai Lin. The 3 of them have dramatically different builds, but in the haze of the foundry I couldn't see clearly. So they're the only 3 suspects? It seems too pat. I have an alibi, not to mention that Keldor already ascertained the truth from me. I have nothing to hide. Apparently Thildan, Saros, and Bedai Lin do, though, because they wouldn't go under Keldor's spell. Maybe it would help if we knew who was murdered? Alright, let's talk to you first.
Shame about that poor Smith Avaldon, really it were. Still, he weren't one to keep himself to the grindstone. He weren't dedicated. 'Tis the way the plains turn, mark my words. Every basher gets his due. Oh well, what can old Thildan do for you?
I'd like to ask you some questions. What were you doing the night of the murder?
What was I doing? Why, I was sitting in my room with a nice loaf of bread and a jug of wine, staying in. Didn't go out that night. Didn't see no need.
Do you know anyone who can swear otherwise?
Nope. Never saw the need to make sure of it. One place you might ask if you're really looking for leads is Saros. That little thieving knight goes everywhere. What with his father being such a high up here, he always was into new experiences. Boy's practically a sensei if you ask me. Probably wanted to kill someone to see if he could get away with it.
Saros, eh? I'll remember that. In the meantime, I had some more questions. Nope. Alright. Nothing for a while. Alright. When we come back, we'll go talk to the other 2 suspects and see what we can ascertain. See if we can figure out who murdered this Smith Avaldon. See you then, everyone.